So over the past couple of weeks on this channel, we've taken a look at the best and worst weapons in Halo and the worst vehicles in Halo, but we still haven't gotten around to taking a look at which vehicles really set themselves apart when you look at how they stand out compared to the rest of the vehicles across all the Halo games. But which vehicles really were the best of the best? But before we jump into this, have you ever wondered, what if Sergeant Johnson wanted to open up an online taffy store and he needed to find a way to build his very own website? Well, we think he probably would use Squarespace, who actually sponsored this video. Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build your own online presence, no matter if you're looking to write a blog, create an online store, or just present your business. And more about Squarespace, of course, at the end of this video. So if you guys watched our worst Halo vehicles video already, you know kind of how we feel when it comes to Halo Combat Evolved vehicles. Yes, they were iconic back in the day, and they were so much fun to just drive around with their janky physics. But it seems like every time you go back to playing on an older Halo after coming from some of the newer ones, there's definitely a little bit of a curve when it comes to driving and navigating in these different types of vehicles. Now, of course, we love Halo Combat Evolved, and none of these vehicles are really going to rank on our best vehicles list, though we do want to give at least an honorable mention to the Combat Evolved Warthog, just because gaming as a whole had never seen a vehicle that was so unique like that up until 2001 when Halo CE came out. I mean, besides the fact you could ride around with two of your teammates in Blood Gulch, the gun on the back was just kind of this added bonus where co-op actually felt like people had different roles based on what they were doing. One other thing that's really interesting about Halo Combat Evolved is that in the first Halo, it was actually the only title done by Bungie that uses an in-house physics engine that Bungie had tried to create, which is probably why the vehicles feel so different in Halo CE compared to what we see in later Halos. After Halo CE, they actually moved on to using the Havoc physics engine, which they used in Halo 2, and they remained as one of the key component softwares that were in all of the Halos ever since. The Havoc engine is also used by a ton of other games throughout the years, and it's probably still going to be used in one way or another in Halo Infinite, but it is interesting to know that Bungie did do their own physics engine for Halo CE, and it probably explains why some of those vehicles feel maybe a little more dated than they probably needed to. But by the time Halo 2 rolled around, we saw a ton of awesome refinements when it came to vehicles, and across the board, all of the vehicles in Halo 2 felt much more solid. But we have to say, out of all of the variations for the Ghost, we really are fond of how the Ghost felt in Halo 2. Not only was Boost added to the Ghost, which was a much needed thing for the Ghost to be a more usable vehicle, but as future Halo games continued to come out, it seemed like the Ghost, for the most part, needed the least amount of tweaks and adjustments over the years, and we can actually say the same thing about the Banshee in Halo 2. The Banshee has a little bit of a different legacy, as the Banshee has been changed quite a bit over the years, but we are really fond of how the Halo 2 Banshee played. Now, you could use the bombs in campaign, and though you couldn't have it in multiplayer, it was really nice to be able to fly this Banshee and not feel like you're falling upside down at all times, which is kind of how it feels in Halo CE. Now, the Banshee would get the bombs coming back, which were awesome when Halo 3 rolled around, though Halo 3 did introduce an extra weak spot to the Banshee, allowing you to actually shoot at the player's legs when they're flying through the air, though it was nice to just be able to shoot your regular plasma guns and then also shoot a bomb whenever you wanted to. But comparing Halo 2's campaign Banshee to Halo 3's regular Banshee, we're gonna go ahead and say Halo 2's still takes it here. And while we did talk generally about a lot of the vehicles in Halo 2 and how they played a lot better, Halo 3 honestly had some of the best vehicle mechanics across any Halo game. Now, we might be looking at this from a little bit of a very jaded perspective, because this video is of course based off of our own opinion, but Luke and I both really agreed that Halo 3's vehicles were just one notch above most of the Halo games. But I mean, can you really blame us? We had a Warthog that was really more mobile than the Halo 2 one. It was really similar to Halo 2's, but just the little bit of extra control you have and just the physics around it working a little bit tighter made the Halo 3 Warthog one of the better ones for sure. We did kind of have some trouble debating which Scorpion was the best. We knew Halo 4's definitely wasn't it, but we really feel strongly about Halo 3 Scorpion being the most fun, with the bullet delay when you shoot the Scorpion being the most balanced and fast paced. The Scorpion just feels like a powerful weapon here, and the countering that you do in the campaign or in multiplayer against other vehicles feels fun in Halo 3. We got the Mongoose introduced for the first time, which was originally supposed to be in Halo 2, and this was so much fun to drive, and you can argue with me about this one, and I will not stand down. Halo 3's Mongoose was the best Mongoose. If you play any type of custom game that involved a Mongoose, driving around in the Halo 3 Mongoose was just so much fun. Halo Reach did have a great Mongoose, but there was something about the way that the Halo 3 one ran and just slid around when you were driving that just made it really special. It was always fun playing those game types where there's someone up in a sniper tower while you're driving on a racetrack, and if they bump your Mongoose in a tire, you would actually spin out or fall off the track. And that was just a really cool example of Halo 3's engine and the Mongoose physics that went into it that just made the game more fun. And then of course, we've talked a little bit about the Brute vehicles that were in Halo 3 in the worst video. We talked briefly about how the Brute Prowler was kind of the better version of the Spectre from Halo 2, and honestly the Brute Prowler was so much fun just because 4 people can ride together. And also we loved the chopper. It was so overpowered, it was so hard to control sometimes, and some people were so good at driving around that it was almost problematic in some game types, and it was kind of great because of it. Now, I was one of the players who never was good at the chopper whatsoever. I just could never seem to aim my guns the right way or boost the way I want, and I always ran out of my boost. But nonetheless, the vehicle was fun, and I can appreciate how much fun other people had with the chopper, where I would probably try to avoid it. So when it comes to Halo 3, while this might seem like a little bit of overkill of appreciation towards Halo 3, we do want to say that the Warthog, maybe even the Hog, are probably some of the best iterations of all of these vehicles across all of Halo. Halo 3 ODST, we got to see a drop pod for once. That was kind of cool. As you guys know, Halo 3 ODST was just using Halo 3's engine, so the vehicles were mostly the same, though we did get to see the interior of a drop pod, and in ODST, the drop pods looked pretty good compared to what we saw the drop pods look like in Halo 2 back in the day. It's kind of funny when you look at these two games that were just 5 years apart. Now, when it comes to Halo Reach, we don't really include as many vehicles as what we did in Halo 3, though we do have to say, for the most part, Halo Reach's vehicles were all really good. They definitely had a very different approach to how they programmed the physics for these vehicles. They wanted to make the vehicles feel a little heavier, a little more tanky than maybe what we saw in Halo 3. However, just preference-wise, we like the Halo 3 vehicles better. Though, we have to say, Halo Reach did have one of the better Wraiths out of all of the games. I don't know, they made some big adjustments to the Wraith. It does feel slower and heavier, but it seems to pack a little more of a punch, and it has a little bit more armor maybe? We don't know what it was exactly about the Wraith in Halo Reach, but it did feel a little bit better. Of course, we did not see the return of the Hornet, which was actually a very fun vehicle in Halo 3 that we haven't really talked about too much in this video yet. But not only did it have full auto guns, it also had missiles, which was super overpowered. And it makes sense that when Halo Reach came around, they decided to maybe switch it up a little bit, go with the Falcon, which actually gives more utilization, having other players man the guns instead of just the pilot having all of the control and power. And actually, the Falcon ended up being this really unique vehicle that kind of became a fan favorite, just because while it did have its weaknesses and it was significantly less powerful than the Hornet predecessor from Halo 3, with a pilot that knows what he's doing and some good people on the guns, you could really use this vehicle to your advantage. And it's really cool how this meta came out from the Halo Reach Falcon that wasn't in Halo before, and we really hope this vehicle makes a return. And of course, the best vehicle of all time when it comes to Halo Reach, the forklift, was just god tier. When it comes to Halo 4, it's very obvious that 343 took a lot of time and energy into how they crafted the sound design for the games. And very obviously, they redid the Halo 4 sound effects for vehicles like the Warthog, and while yes, they chose more realistic sounds, sometimes it almost feels like it's just a loop of a loud noise playing over and over again when you're driving through levels, though the broadsword at the end of Halo 4's campaign is kind of neat. Halo 2 Anniversary did bring one really interesting thing to the table, considering Halo 4 did not have any UNSC flying vehicle. They just said no to the Hornet, no to the Falcon, good luck out there. But Halo 2 Anniversary brought the Hornet back, and actually it's really fun to play. It makes us wish that the Hornet would have been included in Halo 4, because since Halo 2 Anniversary is just built on the Halo 4 engine, we could see what it would have been been like, and it was really balanced. It actually felt the same as it did back in Halo 3, but with some adjustments and refinements to how you control it, and it's probably the best version of the Hornet we have seen, and why we didn't include the Hornet in the Halo 3 list. And then we can get to Halo 5, and there's a lot to say about Halo 5 when it comes to vehicles, but 343 actually really outdid themselves with how they handled a lot of the vehicles in Halo 5 Guardians. Now, I feel kind of bad because I consider myself a Halo fan, though it literally took until Luke and I decided to jump into Halo 5 Guardians Forge a few weeks ago to look at the different vehicles that were in Halo 5 Guardians to finally realize how many different variations they have added into Halo 5 Guardians for vehicles over the years. We were the type of players that burnt out from Halo 5 multiplayer after matchmaking kind of burned us out early on, so we hadn't really gotten back into Halo 5 Guardians too much, and we were pleasantly surprised to see all of the new vehicles and variations on existing vehicles that had been added in that actually were really cool. Like, there's a Needler Warthog. We never thought that'd be something that existed, but here it is, and I really loved the different variations on the ghosts. This is something that I actually like so much. I wish that during the course of all of the Halo games back in the day, we would have seen these different types of ghosts in the campaign, and we really hope that in future Halo games we get to face off against some of these ghosts, because I just feel like they look like a unique challenge in just the way that they have their own shooting and firing along with their own weight and design. They're so cool here, and we really hope we see more of this. Now, we also didn't talk about a couple other 343 era vehicles that were introduced, but Halo 5 Guardians refined a lot of these vehicles, like the Mantis that originally was introduced in Halo 4 plays a lot better in Halo 5 Guardians, along with the Mongoose, which we've complained about pretty heavily in Halo 4. Halo 5 Guardians did have a better version of the Mongoose. But we all know the best vehicle of all time when it comes to Halo has to be that legendary golden Warthog from Halo 2. I know I should have talked about this when we talked about Halo 2, but this vehicle kind of, we wanted to put it at the end of all of this just because it was this really big secret Easter egg that kind of floated around in different communities on Xbox back in the day as to whether or not it even existed. But sure enough, that golden Warthog did make its way into Halo, and that's something we appreciate. And thanks again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. If you don't know about Squarespace yet, they're the best website building and hosting service that's out there easily. They have a ton of features provided in one really easy to use online tool. We love that they have a ton of website designs for you to pick that are easy to customize and offer a lot of unique options for whatever message you're trying to get across. Also, if you want to make your business stand out, you need your own domain. And seriously, if you don't already have your own domain set up for your brand, what are you doing? Even if you have your own domain already, you can easily integrate it into your Squarespace website or directly purchase domains directly through Squarespace, which makes it even easier. And if you're trying to grow a brand, or maybe you have a YouTube channel, one thing that we've learned over everything we've done on Rocket Sloth is that analytics are extremely important to track your audience and get in-depth insights along the way to make better decisions. And Squarespace offers a really awesome platform that gives you these in-depth analytics and detail exactly who your audience is and where they're coming from, so you can understand your website visitors even better. Another feature that we use all the time for our YouTube videos is a scheduling feature, which Squarespace also provides for your own posts, which is huge because you can just write posts ahead of time and schedule them out for later, so you can get on with the other stuff you need to do to run your business and just let Squarespace do the rest for you. Anyways, if you head over to squarespace.com/RocketSloth, you can save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using code RocketSloth. So let us know what you guys think of our rankings when it comes to Halo vehicles. We definitely expect some of you guys to disagree with us. That's fair. This is all based off of our own personal opinions, so we'd like to hear what you guys think. Leave a comment down below if you guys want to communicate with us. But hey, if you liked this video, can you take a quick moment first? Double check you are in fact subscribed down below with notifications on. It helps us out a lot. We get to do more stuff like this, and that's cool. Also, if you want to talk with us on Twitter, you can follow me at Rocket Elijah, and you can also follow Luke at Rocket Sloth Luke. So feel free to follow us on there and communicate with us a bit. We would kind of appreciate it. But otherwise, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.